Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Nelly and I am an indie author of 2 books. And today we're going to be talking about the cover design process for both of those books. Okay, so quickly a rundown of how this is going to go. I think I'm going to screen record my computer and we're just going to go through the process and see how this works out. I did work with Maria Spada, who is in the Philippines. So if you do end up working with her, 1, she's amazing. 2, she's actually like cost effective, like she's not expensive, and I think that's because she works from the Philippines, so she can charge at a lower rate. But I think it's also very important to remember that things happen everywhere, and so in the Philippines they end up getting natural disasters quite a bit, like a lot of like rain and typhoon and all that stuff. So important to remember to try not to last minute your work in case something happens and she has to take time off, because that did happen with book 2's cover. Mind you, it wasn't last minute, I just needed the final files, but a typhoon did hit. 100% not her fault, but again, important to remember. So we are currently on Canva. I did this a long time ago when I was originally emailing back and forth. Every single round I moved those drafts into Canva, into like next to each other, so I can show you exactly how this works out. So we are on Canva. These are the first draft. Actually, let me go over real quick the description of what I asked her for. So the way that Maria works is she sends you a form to fill out for the cover, and kind of goes based off of that. You're getting a sneak peek into her form. Most of it is like pretty basic of what you would expect, so like name, is it part of series, all of that stuff. And then she also asks if there's anything specific you want. So I put here black pillars because I was going based off of a specific scene in the book. Same thing with book 2, I put that I wanted the bird's wing, and you'll see that later. Again, going off of something specific in the book. And then the colors, I wanted dark hues. I definitely knew that. And then she asked for like any comparative covers, and I kind of sent her different options, and I said like what I wanted with each. You don't have to do this with every cover designer. It's just if you have more of a specific idea in mind, you would have to do this. So yeah, like how it interacts with the cover, and how both of my covers, like you get the flames and stuff going in between. I definitely needed that. This was more of like I don't want the background to just be black or blue or like just a plain color. I wanted more spark in it. More realistic fire. I sent this as like a description of like what I want the pillars to look like, my own drawn. Yeah, so like basically when you're going through a cover design process, anything can help them. So I sent comparative covers, and I explained what part of the cover that I wanted / liked. I sent my own horrible drawing. I also did this for book 2. I didn't do it with the form, but I sent it separately, a horrible drawing of like how I wanted the wing, and you'll see why. But that is just the form. So back to Canva. This is the original 3 that she came back to me with, and I actually really loved it. I was not a fan of this, like the borders around it, but between these 2 I was like, ooh, I really like those. And then I ended up picking the blue cover because I actually was back home when I got these covers back originally, and I was like very back and forth on like which one I wanted. I was not sure. I ended up asking my siblings like which one would get to you more, and they chose I think 2 of them chose the blue. I don't remember. So yeah, we went with the blue cover. And then I asked for more fire because this wasn't enough, and this to be more like a little bit higher. Oh, she didn't do that yet. Maybe I asked next round. Okay, so I asked for more flames. Definitely gave me that, but some of these were way too much. Like this was way too much flames. I think it's beautiful, but it takes away from the pillars and anything else. So I went with this one because there's more flames than the original, but we're not overdoing it. And then this is where I asked for the cover, for the title to go a little bit higher. And so she did that. I believe I ended up choosing this third one. No, this one, because like she made this higher. Like these are aligned, but this, I didn't like how in the middle it was, so I went with the second one. And then again, I asked her to bring the title closer together because they just look too separated. So she did that. And oh, I also asked in this round, so the second round, to make the background more interactive. Like to, I think what I said is I wanted the fire like this one, but with this one's background. I think that's what I said. So that's what we got here, and I chose this one. And then in this round, I don't remember. Okay, I remembered. The difference here was very, very slight, and this goes back to the comparative photos of other books on the interaction of the words with the rest of the cover. So here it's more of like a how much the fire interacts with the letters type of situation. So I went with this one because I went with this one because I wanted interaction, but like I didn't want it to completely cover the K at that point. Okay, I had to start recording for a second because I realized I didn't have the full spreads for either of the covers, so I just added this one. And so yeah, this is what the full spread ended up looking like. With, you saw the entire design process, and then the back I said keep it pretty simple. I just want one pillar to kind of tie in the front and the back to each other. And yeah, so she took what I wrote on the form on like the names, putting my LLC's logo on the bottom and all of that. So that was the first cover. The second cover was so much easier to get to because I said I want a lot of that to be the same, because obviously I wanted it to flow in as like book 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and all that. So I said I wanted the flames, I wanted this new symbol and all of that stuff. The lettering was all going to be the same, so a lot of it was very simple to just continue on with. And so I said I wanted a bird, and I sent her I think 1 or 2 comparable pictures, but I don't remember. Anyway, this is what she came to me with, because I said a bird's wing. This is what she came to me with the blue and the purple, because I think I also mentioned that I like the purple from before, so like let's see if that works or not. Yeah, I went back to her with this is not what I had in mind at all, and this is when I sent her the hand-drawn picture of like kind of what I had in mind, because it was bad. I also sent her a picture of like one of the covers she'd done before, and I was like, oh, if you can't do that, like maybe do this. And I'm saying this because she sent me this. So what I said is, if you can't do a wing, maybe try to add this bird instead, and that's why we have this bird right here. We have the wing, and then she did one with the both of them, which I really like because that could have been an option. It's not. I went with the one I had originally wanted, but definitely an option. I think I also stated that I think we were staying with blues because she kept them all on blue. But yeah, so obviously I chose this one. And then I asked her to take different approaches to the blue because I wasn't sure like what kind of blue I wanted, and I 100% thought I wanted a dark blue with this book. I think what I had planned originally was to take the blue darker, because the books do technically get a little bit darker. I mean, I feel like they're not dark books at all, but they do get darker with each book. So that's what I had planned. But on the same side, they get more romantic with each book, so it makes sense that they'd get lighter. I don't know. So I asked for different versions of the background just so I could see how it works, and I really liked this one. But again, it wasn't really fitting with the like basically like a sky background. So I was like, I really like this one. Can we make it more natural looking. So that's what she sent me this for. And again, I asked my siblings about this too because I loved all of them and I still love all of them. I'm still like, wow, I could have had any of these. Loved every single one of them. I think I ended up going with this one. Yeah, I went with this one. A few extra tweaks at the end. I just like wanted this all orange and all of that stuff, like little tweaks at the end, but I actually really love all of them. I'm like looking at them now and I'm like, this is my second favorite though. Like I feel like that would have definitely been cut out, so it was really between these two for me. But yeah, we went with this one, and that was the final cover. I asked for the orange and, you know, a bit more flames, but that was it. And then this is the final spread. Again, I wanted just pretty simple back with some like feathers coming around to tie in the front and the back. And yeah, that is what they look like together. So they're very different, but it's very obvious that they're part of the same series, and that was my goal. Like I didn't want them to look like the exact same cover, just a tiny little tweak. Like I wanted them to look like their individual covers, and you know, they're like representing their individual books, but I wanted it still to be pretty obvious that they were in the same series, which the titles and the Widow Magic circle and stuff all make that pretty obvious. The tie-in with the sky in the background, the flames everywhere, the darkness being used in every single book. So yeah, it has been made pretty obvious, I think, and I love my covers. So a final rundown on the covers. Those were the first two covers for the series. Book 2 does come out next week. It's very exciting. And next week I also start the cover process for book 3. I'm very nervous because this is the first time where I'm not 100% on what I want the cover to be, because going to book 1 and 2, I got it in around draft 4 and I knew exactly what I wanted the cover to be. I've gone through draft 4 of book 3 and I still don't know. So I'm nervous, but I'm excited because I cannot wait to see what we come up with. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Oh, also, if you have any questions about cover design or working with Maria, please let me know. I would love to answer. The cover design process is one of my favorite processes. I know it like stresses some people out because it's such a important marketing tool, and it does stress me out for that too, but I love it so much. It's so much fun.